I am sorry. Any team that's giving up all those assets and moving from the 12th pick to the 3rd pick is looking at a quarterback. I'm sorry. Nobody does that unless there's a monstrous talent outside or a must-have player. You're looking for a quarterback. How about a team like the Eagles? Well, let's talk about the Eagles. It's a transition season coming up. What do I mean by that? You're going to put Jalen Hurts in. You're going to see what he has. Do I expect the team to win the division? No. Are they going to make the playoffs? Probably not. I would say it would be a lesser year for a team like the Eagles. A team like the Falcons at the 4th pick. Why don't they trade back with a team like the Broncos, who could use a quarterback? The Broncos trade up because, let's be honest, he's not terrible, but there's been nothing I've seen from Drew Lock that says, let me get my $100 million contract. The Falcons are not drafting a quarterback because he would just sit behind Matt Ryan. They can use that to build the defense. We're going to talk about all these draft swaps, and the best thing that could happen, stay right here. A little bit more consistent here on the YouTube channel, but we got some football news that I thought was important enough to talk about, and the draft. Now, why is the draft so important? The draft is so important because you spend your whole season waiting for it when you got to pick because you want the next big thing. Everybody wants the quarterback. Everybody wants the running back. Everybody wants that wide receiver that's going to make the catch. Everybody wants that defensive player that's going to shut down the quarterback. This year, it's pretty much quarterback driven. And from what it seems like, outside of the top 4 picks, anybody selecting a quarterback after that on paper, is not going to get one of the fantastic 4 chosen ones. Why is the draft being talked about today? The draft is being talked about today because we saw some swaps. Some pick swaps here between a couple of teams, and some of these are very crucial. Now, the first one we have to talk about is the 49ers. The 49ers made a massive jump from the number 12 pick all the way to the number 3 pick. Now, in general, the number 12 pick in a draft is pretty good. The number 3 pick is extraordinary. Why is it so extraordinary? We take a look at a team like the 49ers. Here's what it says. It says that we like Jimmy G. Jimmy G's decent, but it looks like that we're ready to go a different direction. What do you mean by a different direction? Jimmy Garoppolo, and I'm just going to summarize it in my honest opinion, Jimmy Garoppolo is a good quarterback, okay? A lot of people are complaining, why would you give up that much? Yeah, they gave up a lot. I don't know if I have that listed on here. Oh, here we go. The 49ers got the number 3 pick for the number 12, obviously. A 2022 third-round pick and first-round picks in 2022 and 2023. Obviously, a first-round pick in anything is important. The 49ers gave the number 12 pick and 3 picks to the Dolphins, who had the number 3 pick. Why did the Dolphins do this? The Dolphins did this because, in all honesty, the Dolphins don't need the number 3 pick. Do they? I don't think so. And the 49ers did this because they're looking for a quarterback, whether you believe it or not. Jimmy G is coming off of a season where he played just 6 games. Just 6 games. Jimmy G, again, like I said, he's a good quarterback. But is Jimmy G this guy that's going to lead you to a Super... Well, he did. But whether that was Jimmy G or a phenomenal defense, I'll let you make that decision. Jimmy G gets hurt a lot. Now, here's the problem with guys that are injury-prone. It's not always their fault. You know, you never blame an injury on someone. But that's going to follow you wherever you go. If you are an injury-prone player, you will be an injury-prone player wearing red. You will be injury-prone wearing blue. You will be injury-prone in the West. You'll be injury-prone on the East. That is never going to change. Jimmy G is good, but is he always reliable in big-time moments? Well, that's the question. The 49ers are looking at this as, let's take a chance at a younger quarterback. This is just my opinion. I could be wrong. Let's take a chance at a younger quarterback because Jimmy G, we don't get full production from him. And he's a little bit shaky in crunch time. Now, the one that really hurts is the full production. The full production hurts because if you're a quarterback that's got this massive deal with a team who believes you're the franchise guy, and you're not playing most of the season, that leaves them to their backups. Now, generally speaking, a lot of teams don't find that much success with backup quarterbacks long term. There are a few teams that have a couple of good ones. While the 49ers aren't a disaster without Jimmy G, his presence is definitely missed. The 49ers fans should expect for a new quarterback to be drafted because unless they swap again, but obviously anybody who goes from the 12th to the 3rd pick is not interested in anything else. And you could bet your ass the number 1 and number 2 pick are not touchable. The Jets need that pick more than anybody in this draft. And Jacksonville is garbage. Okay. You would have to give away a franchise, a stadium, all of the players, every single fan, all merchandise, and more if you wanted to get the number 1 pick. Okay, but let's say that the Dolphins traded back. Well, let's see this. Now, it said the Dolphins and 49ers swap led other teams to make moves as well. Shortly after the deal, the Eagles traded their number 6 pick to the Dolphins for the number 12 pick and a 2022 first-round pick. Let's explain this. The Eagles weren't looking for a quarterback, and they shouldn't be. Okay, this is a transition season for the Philadelphia Eagles. What do I mean by that? The Eagles need to look for boosting of the offensive line and playmakers because this team's wide receiving core has been absent since, I swear to God, Jeremy Maclin had a jersey on. This team, when was the last time the Eagles had a 1,000-yard receiver? I think if somebody looked that up, you will come back with Jeremy Maclin, okay? And some of that's due to the fact that all of their receivers can't stay healthy, and some of that's due to the fact that they're picking up receivers that are well past their prime, okay? They have a great tight end. Nobody's taking that away from him. The Eagles traded back. They get another pick next year. It says here the Dolphins are back in the top 6. As of now, the Eagles have an extra first-round pick, but could potentially have as many as 3 first-round picks in 2022 if the Carson Wentz pick from the Colts turns into a first-rounder. I don't know how they illustrate that. Obviously, the trade with the Colts sending Carson Wentz away. The 2022 first-round pick the Dolphins are sending belongs to Miami. It is not the pick they acquired from the 49ers. The Eagles now have full ownership of the Dolphins' original first-round pick in 2022. The 49ers are, well, he says here, according to Adam Schefter, the 49ers are holding on to Jimmy G and have no plans to trade him. Jimmy G has a no-trade clause in his contract. Jimmy's here to stay, Schefter said. He's our guy this year. Is he your guy this year? Or is he a guy that you want this year that's going to have some catastrophic problem? Not always his fault, okay, because I'm not coming at any particular person. But is Jimmy G your guy this year, or is he the guy that you want this year? But you're drafting a quarterback because in the back of your mind, you're prepping yourself for a disaster with Jimmy G. That's what the 49ers say. I don't always believe that. I believe that if Jimmy G stays on the 49ers, he is going to start as long as he's healthy and producing. But I don't understand the 49ers trading up and giving that up for that. When we talk about teams potentially interested in Jimmy G, we could talk about that in a minute. Garrapolo, again, played 6 games last season. High ankle sprain, threw for 1,000 yards, 7 TDs, and 5 picks. However, in his Super Bowl run, he threw for 3,900, 27 TDs, and 13 picks. With the 49ers moving up in the draft, the franchise could look to draft their quarterback of the future. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence is projected at number 1. After Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, and Justin Fields are going to be taken early. The 49ers will have an option at one of those guys because with the number 3 pick, only 2 of them are off the board. I would say that everyone would put their bottom dollar on Trevor Lawrence being drafted first. And then after that, it could be Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, or Justin Fields. With the Jets, I could see the Jets picking up Fields. Again, we'll do that prediction another time. The draft is from April 29th to May 1st, and the Dolphins are coming off of that season. But let's talk about some other teams real quick. Not their draft picks and certain things. Let's talk about some teams that could entertain or could not entertain a guy like Jimmy G coming into the next season. Now, I'll say this. The Saints is off the board. A lot of people said that after Drew Brees announced his retirement, the Saints would be looking for a new quarterback. And everybody clammed on to Russell Wilson. I could only imagine how dominant a Saints team would be with a guy like Russell Wilson. That would just be unbelievable. He has a lot of receivers to work with, a phenomenal running back, a good line, and a good defense. That Saints team is just bad luck, is good luck away from a Super Bowl. But instead, the Saints continue to hang on to Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill. I would say going into week 1, Taysom Hill is not a bad quarterback, but he's not a pure quarterback. He plays other positions as well. Taysom Hill is not a guy that's going to lead you to the Super Bowl, but he's capable of winning games as a backup quarterback, and that's one of the things that sometimes people don't talk about. But he's not a guy that I'm going to have as my starter when someone like Jameis Winston is there. Now, people have their opinions on Jameis Winston. I do as well. The guy throws 30 interceptions in a season, but he throws for 4,000 yards. That's not a good season. The equivalent of that would be chucking the ball up, having amazing receivers make you look good. And it's not me saying Jameis Winston is terrible, because I think Jameis Winston is a better quarterback than what he has produced. The Saints could go after a quarterback. They don't have money, and Jimmy G's off the table. Okay, so let's delete the New Orleans Saints fantasy from there. The Atlanta Falcons have the number 4th pick. Why would the Falcons draft a quarterback? I'll let anybody. If the Falcons were to let loose of Matt Ryan, they would lose $40 million. The Falcons don't really have a reason to let loose of Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is not the problem with the Falcons. The problem with the Falcons, well, first off, it was the coaching, which got slightly better, is the defense. The Falcons' offense, at least as long as I've been alive, hasn't had a problem scoring the football. Obviously, Todd Gurley had the injury history there. Julio Jones, one of the best receivers ever, okay? Calvin Ridley, great. You have all of these guys. The Falcons have had no problem scoring the football. The problem is that their defense is garbage. So for me, what I said in the intro was, why don't the Falcons take the number 4 pick, get assets, send it to a team, because there are some teams salivating at that number 4 pick. Why don't they take the number 4 pick, swap it back? The team that comes to my mind is the Broncos. You swap it back, you get assets. That team now gets into the position to where they would get a quarterback, and the Falcons can start to look at some defensive players in the NFL draft. Because any quarterback, I would be shocked to see the Falcons. I wouldn't say it's impossible, but I couldn't understand the point of the Falcons drafting a quarterback, because can't think of any quarterback that is going to outdog Matt Ryan in training camp. Matt Ryan gets shitted on a lot, and I don't think it's his fault. Is he the greatest thing since sliced bread? No, but Matt Ryan is a very good quarterback. And I really wish he would have won that Super Bowl, but again, that's a whole other reason why that didn't happen. So let's talk about the Denver Broncos. The Broncos have built a team outside of Drew Lock that is very good. Their secondary's good. They're building their defense. Their offense, they're getting weapons. Jerry Jeudy is going to be a second-year player this year. What's his name? Portland Sutton? I forget some of the guys on offense. Melvin Gordon, again, you have your own opinion there. The Broncos are building a team, and they have all the makings of, they won't win that division. As long as Patrick Mahomes breathes, they will never win that division. But this Broncos team has the makings of a playoff team. If the NFL were to expand, I don't know if it'll be a forward rule going forward, but if the NFL were to expand wild cards like they did, which I thought was great, the Broncos are a good quarterback away from being a playoff team. That's my opinion. Is Drew Lock the worst player I've ever seen? No, he's not. But is Drew Lock a franchise guy? From what I've seen, no. He had the opportunity of playmakers this past season. I just believe, in my honest opinion, if I were the Broncos, and again, I don't know if they're ready to pull that trigger, but with the quarterback class that we have, the Broncos should entertain a trade with the Atlanta Falcons at the number 4 pick. Granted, they're going to have to give up some type of defensive asset, let's say Bradley Chubb. It makes perfect sense for a team like the Falcons, whose defense, it couldn't stop a fly with a fly swatter, to trade back, because again, they don't need a quarterback. The Broncos, do they need one? But they could sure use one. And I think that, maybe you don't cut and release Drew Lock. You keep him on the team, but give another quarterback a chance. Okay. And you make that trade with the Atlanta Falcons. And the Broncos move up and take a quarterback. Jimmy G's not going to the Broncos either. I don't know, I just brought that pain up. Where does Jimmy G go? If Jimmy G were to leave, I can tell you, this is my opinion. If Jimmy G were to leave the San Francisco 49ers, whether it be via trade or whatever, the best place I think for Jimmy G to go is the New England Patriots. Why do I think the New England Patriots? Okay, the Patriots re-signed Cam Newton, but they didn't give him a mega deal, because why would you give Cam Newton a mega deal? Based off of what we saw from Cam Newton last year, I would have no reason to give him a mega deal. 5 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. That is the equivalent of JV stats on an average high school football team. Who am I, though, right? But they re-signed him, and I think that was smart. They gave him a 1-year, $2 million deal. He'll try to get healthy in the offseason, get back to his pure power. And Cam Newton will have quite a few toys to work with, as the Patriots were dominant in this year's free agency as they signed the entire field. Jonnu Smith comes from us, good tight end, right? Hunter Henry, another good tight end. Who else did they sign? They signed some receivers. I'm drawing a blank. There's a bunch of other guys. But the Patriots, regardless, have signed good players, and the Patriots had a very good free agency. They re-signed Cam in the event that Cam could produce with this. But Jimmy G is A good quarterback. B, he would be going to a team that has a lot of weapons and assets to work with. And C, he's already familiar with the New England system. He sat behind Brady. He knows Coach Belichick. So if Jimmy G were to leave, the only place I would see him going is New England. I don't see anywhere else. Eagles would make no sense. The Dolphins are not... Listen, the Dolphins traded back as a to reassure their fan base that we are sold on Tua. Okay. Tua, we'll see what he can bring. Obviously, the Dolphins want him in their long-term plans. But these are some of the draft swaps and what would make the most sense. Do I see Jimmy Garoppolo legitimately moving? To be honest with you, probably not. But it's going to be very interesting, because with the 49ers trading up for the number 3 pick, are you doing that for Devontae Smith? What? You know what I mean? But I have a feeling we're also not done yet. We're done with this video, but we're not done with these. I don't believe that the draft order that you see now, I do not believe that will be the final draft. The draft, if you go on NFL.com today and you look at the draft order, I do not believe that will be the order come April 29th. I think there's still a lot more to go. But ladies and gentlemen, that is that. We talk about the NFL swaps and trade. We are 2 weeks from WrestleMania. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button. We're going to try to get more active on this channel. I'm out. You're out. Have a great day.